information at school about that, how to use to revise. But if you have those conversations with them as well, then you know what they're going to be struggling with, and you can get in touch with us if you need to. Make sure that your child has somewhere they can go to complete their home learning or home study, somewhere quiet where they can concentrate. We also understand that that is sometimes not possible at home. We all have busy families. So we do have the school library. There's computers in there, there's lots of resources in there that they can use, and there are librarians in there that might be able to point them in the right direction for study resources. So they can always use the school library. We have our study centre, which is a Year 11 only space. They can come first thing in the morning. We offer breakfast, so toast, flapjacks, tea, coffee, that kind of thing. They're always welcome in the morning to pop in before registration, spend some time in the study centre and make the most of that, half an hour. So there are always spaces in school if it's, really difficult at home. And then again, encourage them to revisit learning from previous lessons, making sure that they are sort of like remembering what's gone on in previous lessons so that they're ready to continue when they go into their classroom. So they're the three things that we were looking for in terms of our scholar learning habits and scholar stars. We're really keen to be recognising when they're doing well, and all these things will really benefit them in terms of preparing for their GCSEs. So I hope that's been useful. Again, if you need any more information on that, please feel free to contact me. So that's me finished for this evening. I'm going to pass you over now to Miss Slinger, and thank you very much again for joining us. I hope to see you soon. Please feel free to contact me if you need anything at all. Have a good evening. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Oh, Miss, you're on mute.
Sorry, thank you, Miss. I'm Miss Linger. I work on the achievement team, and one of the main roles that I have with Year 11 in school is driving the home study, and particularly the independent home study habits that Miss Osborne just talked to you about. So in Year 11, there really is a huge ownership for our young people to be doing this revision off their own back. And there never should be a day when they say they don't have any homework. They might not have any specific home learning piece of homework, a specific piece that's been set by their teacher, but now they're into the Year 11 and they're working towards their GCSEs. There is something that they can do every single evening in terms of going back and revision. So we talk a lot about the study habits, these independent study habits that we need students to have and to develop. And this isn't just about this year. We looked at them in Year 9, we look at them in Year 10, we look at them in Year 11. And again, when they go on to their next destination, whether that be college, studying a vocational subject, doing A levels, whatever they choose to go on to do, they will need these habits and these independent study habits to complete whatever they need to do at college, which is a lot more independently kind of driven than school. So there are 6 key study habits that we drive, and we revisit these constantly during tutor time, during lessons, around home study. So in terms of having the timetable, which we mentioned, having a timetable and having structure to that home study. And we call it home study, but they can do it, as we've discussed, in school as well. It's just anything that's taking place outside of their structured lesson time in school. So their timetable might include Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, staying for an hour after school for revision and then doing something else later, or attending like the study centre before school. That can be built into their timetable, but it's getting them into a routine of making sure they're giving over that time that they do need to give over the coming months. We use revision cards, so we do a lot of work around revision cards, self-testing, using our online platforms, mind maps and past papers. And as Year 11 goes on, past papers become an increasingly influential part of their study and their practice. as they become nearer to like GCSEs, and they can really apply what they've learned and help themselves to prepare for those examinations. So we talk about these routinely. We build them into what we're doing. As I said, we build them into tutor time because we really want our young people to be able to use these effectively, because there is a lot of science behind these 6 chosen methods. We haven't just plucked them from nowhere. They are all based on research, scientific research, that this is how people learn best. And most importantly, this is what helps their memory, and to get that information in the long term into their long-term memory, which is what we need for their GCSEs. We don't want them to be under the pressure of cramming for every exam in April and May. It is a bit of a marathon and a long process that we do need to, really work on over a longer period of time. So I just want to highlight for you some things that you at home, like your supportive role at home, in these different strategies that can be used. So in the Times Educational Supplement, again, they did a piece of research and they saw that involvement means the difference of a whole grade or more. So your role in this is incredibly valuable. I know that at home there's so much going on in our home lives, and it can be difficult to manage everything at times, and it can be stressful, especially as we get nearer to exams. But what we really want to do is give some kind of advice and some practical strategies of what that involvement looks like. And these are obviously things that we have tried and tested and shared with parents routinely, across the years. So in terms of timetables, having, as Ms. Osborne said, having them make that revision timetable. We can support them with it in school, and they can make one themselves, but just having the time to look at creating that revision timetable. So really thinking about, where they can allocate some time to their study. So can they get up a little bit earlier if coming to the study centre in the morning would help them? Can they stay for an hour? How much time realistic? And it's about being realistic. Nobody should be coming home and saying, oh, I'm going to do 6 hours of revision tonight. It's impossible to do, but it's helping them kind of realise the limits and where they can allocate that time to their study. Accountability and responsibility. So, just checking in with them. You said you were going to do some maths revision today. Did you do it? Have you done it? You said you were going to get up, this morning and go to school and do that revision session in the study centre. It's this time, you should be on your way. So that accountability and that making them responsible. It's not your responsibility, it's their responsibility to do that revision. So, for you, just checking in with them and holding them accountable for the things that they've said that they were going to do. Without causing major conflict at home, because I do know from past years that this is something that comes up and it can sometimes cause arguments when everybody's a bit, under pressure near exams, but trying to do that in, just to hold them accountable for what they've said they were going to do. And then supporting with the time and the place to get into that routine. So some of them might have responsibilities and other things that they do during the week, and things that they have to do. So again, helping them to see where that time is and helping them to manage those responsibilities and other things that they've got on, and trying to balance it with like their home study, which is a necessary part of this year if they want to be successful. That is a really important part of it. And as we mentioned, there's lots of different places to revise. So helping to support that quiet, focused place, either that being at home, or if that's not suitable, then accessing the places that are available to them. So then in terms of some of those revision habits, what is really important is that you're not revising for these GCSEs. It's not you. You don't need to sit and know all these subjects and no physics and no maths and no geography. You don't need to do that. You're not revising for a GCSE. So that is, again, another thing that I've spoken to parents about in the past. Well, I can't do this maths, or I don't know this about history. But that's not what your role is as a, as a parent or a carer. Your role is that supportive role. So if they're doing things like quizzing, you can read the questions to them. And, you might sit, if they've made some revision cards, you could sit and ask them the questions that they've written. Keep a note of any questions that they don't know the answer to. And again, just supporting to help that. Asking questions about what they've learned, let them teach you. It is one of the most effective revision techniques. So, asking them what they learned. You revised this today. What did you learn? Explain to me. Elaborate on what you learned. Teach me something. I don't know about that. And getting them to explain that to you and what they learned will be strengthening that information that they have learned in that revision. Couple of other things. Sorry. Showing you their revision. So again, that accountability, encouraging them, like they work so incredibly hard. Before the mocks, we saw like some incredible home study that had taken place, revision cards, mind maps, etc. Just really encouraging them to be proud of what they are doing. And again, asking them those questions. So getting them to show you what they've done. Sitting and marking something with them. Again, they could talk you through what they did. You don't need to be able to mark a GCSE question to sit with somebody and have a look at what they've done. And how did you do on that? You tested yourself. How did you do on that? Do you think you've understood it? So it's just really about that supportive role and that accountability. We have lots of online platforms that you can get them to be accessing. Again, asking those questions. If they're missing something, they can go on Teams, and that's where they can access the lessons. We've got GCSE Pod, Seneca, BBC Bite Size, things like Study Rocket. A couple of them have other apps that I've seen them using. That they can share things on as well with each other, which are really useful, and online revision guides. So there is also a world of online learning there. And I always say about mixing and matching it up, keeping it different, keeping it mixed up to, keep that revision kind of going and not become tiresome. They shouldn't be spending more than 45 minutes to an hour on an individual subject. After an hour, it's just not going to go in anymore. So, maybe they might on a Sunday, they maybe will do an hour on one subject, then they need to switch and do an hour on something else and keep it mixed up to keep their memory sharp. So in terms of key takeaways in this process, I would say like the key things that I share with parents that have worked in the past and that parents speak to us about, in like encouraging that process. You don't need to do the revision yourself. You are not revising for a GCSE, but you are encouraging the process and encouraging that engagement. Hold them accountable for what they've said they were going to do. So they said they were going to revise X, Y, and Z. Have they done it? And check and hold them to account, and prompt them like when they get home, what are you going to do? What did you say you were going to do tonight? Ask questions about the content and their revision and what they are learning. That will help to strengthen their knowledge. Support in all the ways you can. Do they need to leave their phone somewhere whilst they go and revise, for example? Signposting those places that they could use and helping them to protect that time in their lives, and praise and reward where you can to just boost them on this long process that they are undertaking this year. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Miss. Okay, so now Miss Sarah.
Okay, can I sit on my powerful chair, please? Okay, thank you very much. Sorry about that. I know there's a lot to take in, and most of you are already doing it, and the students are doing it. But don't forget that this, the presentation is for everyone. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the college application forms. Okay, About 260 people, they applied before we break up for Christmas. And they applied for Loreto and Zavarian mainly, and then also Dewsbury College and also Pendleton College. And all those application forms, because they were paper application forms, they're gone. Okay. And students were showing some messages to me that they already have received, and they kind of a recognition of that they have received the application forms, and they're going to let them know about the placement by the end of March. Okay. Now, another crucial thing is, especially those people, there are still some, and you know, they haven't applied for anything, or you know, they haven't applied for any colleges. And if your child is one of them, can you please ask them if they have applied for the colleges or not, and what colleges they have applied for, and what subjects they have applied for, and if so, it's that kind of conversation I would like you to have. There are some colleges, they're still there, the applications are open, but they're online, and so this is where the problem is, because all these colleges, Access Creative College, Cheadle College, Cornell, Manchester College, Trafford College, Parswood, their application forms are online. So when you fill or complete those application forms, they ask for the current grades, and they are the college entry exam grades. They also ask for predicted grades or college application grades, and these grades, we got them. So can you ask your child to message me directly, and I will give your child a paper copy, or I can send the predicted grades directly. We're going to, if there's so many people applying, then we will come up with some sort of ideas how we can send these predicted grades directly to the parents. But so far, not many people have applied. So can you please make sure that your children have applied for the colleges? Where shall I go, Mr. Go? Okay. So the next thing is the students have their college entry exam results, and they also and we have got the predicted grades for the college applications. And this is what I had just been talking about already. Students will now start to receive replies from the colleges. Some of them will, and please don't panic if your child haven't received any the recognitions. They don't forget that they only had a week, and all these, they are going through with thousands and thousands of applications. Now, sometimes students receive the conditional offer, and the condition could be written in a letter. Could be based on the attendance, could be based on the punctuality, could be based on the the behavior, the conduct, or effort grades, or the grades. Sometimes the offer is unconditional. Okay, so that there's some lucky ones will get unconditional offers, and sometimes the applications are unsuccessful. But if the applications are unsuccessful, you can appeal again after the mock exams, because then you got the mock exams, they are brilliant, there is a massive difference, there's a massive lift, and then you can just say, yeah, I have to improve, and there were some reasons why the college entry exam results wasn't good, but there is a massive change, and you can appeal. And we can help you to do the appeal. I think it's best sometimes it comes directly from the student and the parents. Also, if some of you will be invited, it depends, for the interviews. If they've been invited for the interviews, make sure that they have got their record of achievement portfolios. They are the blue ones or the black portfolios. The students call them SSAT folders, or so that they should have all their certificates. They should have their SSAT certificates. They should have their work experience certificates. Also, their the college entry exam results, or their all the information, everything they need should be in that portfolio, and that shows that they are very organized, and they, it's something to talk about. Right? Should I just click anywhere? Right. Yeah. No? Okay. Also, other colleges remain open sometime after. We would recommend having them all submitted by the end of January. Now, I think if the students are applying for the colleges, their deadline is maybe the end of January, but I think by 15th of January, everyone should apply. If we have to go through appeals, if we have to send the other requirements they want, we got time to send. So by the mid-Jan is the right time for to apply for the colleges, especially the ones that are online. Not for Loreto, not for Zavarian, because the Loreto and Zavarian application forms have gone. Okay. For references, sometimes you have to write the details. You can write my email address, j.sawa@prosperity.org.uk, and then I will send them the references. I will send them the predicted grades for the colleges and any other information they need. Then I will liaise with the colleges. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, if your child hasn't been successful or has been successful, the first thing they're looking at, the attendance and punctuality. I had an email today from the Zavarian College, and they asked them for the information for 10 students, and they were the attendance and punctuality in year 10. So this is how keen they are. They want to know the attendance and punctuality in year 10 and 11, and they wanted to know if there is any reason why the attendance was low. So please, 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 and this is a crucial time, and I know it's this after Christmas. Make sure that your child comes to school every day. Attendance needs to stay high. And punctuality to school, that means 8:30, school starts, and the student needs to be in school by 8:25. As I said, the study center will be open. I'm here every day, quite early, and there's a lot of students come at 8 o'clock. Sometimes the students come at 10 to 8. And then study center is open. If you want to drop your child off early, they can stay here. They revise, they have breakfast, and any other information they need and help they need. I'm here. Me and Mr. Rochford is always here on time early. But if you look at the boundaries, the boundaries for the grade boundaries, or the cutoff point is. 98% attendance is excellent, and this is what they're looking for, and then good, and then fair, and then poor. And of course, there are reasons, and wherever then if the attendance is low, if there are any reasons, if they're authorized absences, we do send information to them. Then after grades 1s and 2s, this is what their colleges are interested in. Anything that less than that, they won't base. And also the behavior points, most of you know how to use Arbor, and Arbor is one of those, the gadgets we're using at the moment to communicate with the parents. And if you don't, please download, and then you can see if your child is getting any behavior points or not. But these are the behavior points. This is the cutoff point for the behavior points. Okay. Right, attendance. Please, I'm going. This is crucial. Okay, it's in a crucial point. Attendance. Significant impact on outcome of the students. And if you look at the last years, we have the phenomenal results. Who attended, 95% achieved a whole grade higher than their target grade. So their target grades can change. They're not like you can't pass through the target grades. So I taught set 7 last year, and from that class people were targeted for grade 5, and students end up getting grade 8 and 9 in science. And that shows because they were coming in every day, they were attending the revision sessions after school, and what they can absorb in lessons in school, and they have to do double the amount of work at home. So please make sure that they come to school every day and they attend the school on time, just for their own benefit. What do we use? How do we get students grade 1s or 2s? How do we know? So we have gone through with this grid, okay? And they said this is all of you are aiming for good and outstanding. And if you're already good, you need to move on to outstanding. And these are the things we got. We have done the assemblies. We spend extended, tutor time, an hour time where they were going through and they were grading themselves. So they know, students know what they need to do to get upper grade 1s and 2s, and 1s mainly. So if your child didn't get the place in Loreto and Zavera or any other colleges, then you basically can talk about, okay, go through with this grid, and you can just say, okay, what you're not doing. Okay, are you basically, have you got the revision timetable? No, then it's crucial that they should have a revision timetable, and you know when your child is coming to school, what your child will be revising. Okay, and also the revision resources means last year's Year 11's parents, they have donated so many revision guides and revision resources, and the study center is full of those resources, and I'm more than happy for the students to take those revision guides home and learn and study and bring them back by the end of this year. But make sure that they have got the resources, not only their books. Yes, their books are their best friends, but sometimes their books doesn't have everything, and it's nice to have the other resources, the other tools. Okay, and the PLCs, there's no point to start revising if they don't have PLCs. The PLC is like the revision list, what they need to revise, what topics they need to revise, and also, you know, how much time they're going to commit to those revision topics. And also, when just like lots of teachers at the moment doing with the Year 11s, by the end of the lesson, they ask them to summarize the lessons in a cue card, okay, revision cards. So those who spend too much time making the revision cards, make sure that you go to your child and just say, okay, well, I saw you've been making the revision cards since past 10 minutes. How shall I test you? Or ask any siblings to test, or ask them to do some exam questions. Okay, then Mrs. Slinger has already gone through with those websites where you can find the exam questions, and the teachers are the best friends. And if they can message their teachers, you know, what I need to revise, how I need to test, and they will provide the right material and the right tools for your child. More communication with the school is better. Involve us. We are here to help your children. Okay. Right. Okay. So far, what your child has got in their portfolio is, or you know, what they have in terms of the grades is those exam grades, the college entry exam grades. Please, if you haven't received those grades, you can communicate with the school, Miss Osborne, and or me or Miss Moylan, and we will send you the grades. Okay. You also have the target grades as well next to it, and target grades can change. Okay. And the application grades, we got them, and we will send the application grades direct to the colleges. We can send you, if just in case, in some application forms, when you're filling the application forms, if you don't complete each section, you cannot continue. If that's the case, then I will send you the college application grades directly to you. Right. Okay. There's a lot in here, a lot to read. I think I have gone through most of it, but students will get those reminders again about the classroom engagements, how they come prepared to their exams. Make sure your child is coming to school with the bag, with the books, and with the revision guides. There's no point to use revision guide at home. They need to bring to school as well, so they can get used to with the revision guide. Okay. Student teachers will be marking and what student needs to do to look at the feedback and act on it. Okay. Also, if all those exam questions since past 3 years, they have done all those tests, they need to compile those test papers again and have a look, go through again as much as they can, because these questions, end of the day, they get repeated. Okay. Maybe they can bring different scenario. End of the day, they're always asking for same thing. You know, as I teach chemistry, and if you have to calculate the formula mass of sodium chloride, that can't change. They can give another formula, but at the end of the day, the method is there. So I'm just saying, going over and over and over and over, that's the best thing. That's the best way to move forward. But what you have to do is basically you need to take interest, okay, and what they're doing, what they're not doing, and you can ask them. The one thing we're struggling at the moment since they came back, I don't know, it's only been 2 days, is the AirPods. And I think there should be a switch off time when they shouldn't be using phones. You should have phones. They shouldn't be using the AirPods, no music when they are revising, they should be completely absorbed in revision. Okay, and they should have the revision cards. I've got loads of revision cards in here. They can take the revision cards. We also have got quite a few the revision cards, if you can see in the filing cabinet, those already, the information and the questions at the back. Lots of parents donated last year. I'm happy to donate and happy to loan those revision cards. Okay, past papers they need to have. Without past papers, revision is nothing without testing. Okay, this is crucial. When the child is learning something, child is trying to find the information, trying to fill the gaps in the in their knowledge, and then if there's no testing, then it won't embed. And Mrs. Moylan is going to talk more about that in a minute. And so quizzes, test papers, past papers, these are the little gadgets and tools they should have on their table wherever they're revising. The students stay after school in the study center till quite late, sometimes 5, sometimes half 5. I have to push them out. They go home. You don't have to go home as well. But we are here to help. Okay, they're not lonely in their revision. They're not on their own. They need to find us, and we will be there to help.
Okay.
Okay, over to you,
Thanks,
Miss.
Okay, so just before Christmas, obviously they received all their feedback. We had a mock exam results morning where students kind of like had that experience of receiving their results like they would do in August. And then we had a personal development morning. So we asked the students to do some reflection. Now, they had feedback fortnight with their teachers where they went through their papers, they annotated them with model answers. And we asked students to use those annotations and those model answers and those mark scheme annotations to make some revision cards based on the areas that they didn't yet know, the areas where they were insecure. So that again is a conversation starter for you. Has your child gone back over their exam scripts? Have they kept them first and foremost? Are they in a safe place? Because they need to kind of use them and go over them and identify those areas where they weren't yet secure on. Okay, so we had this personal development morning, and during that we kind of asked students to reflect honestly on their mock exams, almost in preparation for our next set of mock exams. So kind of like how much time they'd spent preparing, was that reflective of the results that they received, what home study strategies they actually used, which ones were most useful, because it was like an experience for them to go through to practice for obviously our next set of mock exams, and then also the real thing again. So again, some more conversation starters. Are they using the wrong strategies? Did they work exceptionally hard using only solely one strategy, but then the results, they were quite disappointed or deflated with them? Or did they use a variety of them and found that one was more efficient and more strategic than another? So again, you know, each case is on an individual basis. So this is where you guys come in kind of supporting us with that. We can share all the strategies with them, but you know, they need to find which one is most efficient and strategic for them. We also asked them to evaluate the progress and kind of things that they were proud of. Were they actively revising at home? Some were honest and said no, they relied solely on what happened in the classroom. Some attended revision sessions and they were, you know, really well received, but some students hadn't yet kind of got that in their momentum. Were they attending the breakfast revision in the study centre? Did they seek help? Did they ask questions, or were they afraid to? You know, all these kind of habits are kind of their toolkit that will support them in being more successful in the next round of mock exams. And then they're like, you know, the hygiene habits there. Were they sleeping, eating, drinking water, and then also kind of that interleaving their different subjects together instead of kind of booking a particular day for a subject that they like and then leaving topics from different subjects that they disliked to kind of disregarding them or leaving them aside. And then finally, we asked what were their biggest learning points to take away, how do they need to prepare next time, what would they do differently, and how would they kind of improve their well-being to kind of sustain this over a longer period of time. Our mock exam fortnight was just a fortnight, but you know, the real deal can, you know, last as long as 8 weeks. So how are they going to sustain that momentum over a longer period of time. And it's kind of what we've been preparing them since year 10, is this little and often and constant drip feed and constant revision, and will put them in a good position for that. So that's just kind of a little snippet. They have had an A3 sheet where they kind of completed bits of this, so ask them for that, ask them, you know, kind of some questions around it, and also to kind of make some resolutions about, you know, what they're going to do differently next time. So our next set of mock exams is the 27th of February. Okay, so it'll be a 2-week fortnight, and it begins the first week back after half term. So it's the 6 weeks of school. If we kind of like, this week's nearly over, 6 weeks of school time, and then 1 week of half term. And our plan for the next 6 weeks is to really add a grade to kind of every student's repertoire of subjects. And we want them to do this by mapping what they don't know, mastering it, and then moving forward. And the kind of like slogan that we're going to drive with them is find it, fill it, and test it. Find those gaps, fill them by doing some active revision, using the different strategies, using a variety of resources, and then retesting it. And Miss Awa spoke to you about how you can do that and how you can support students. They might not necessarily say test me or quiz me, and that's where kind of the prompt comes in, so that students are relearning and retesting and really taking part in that structured revision, both at home and in school, be it before school, after school, or during their revision sessions. So what we mean by map, master, move forward, map means to find gaps in knowledge using PLCs and revision lists. I have been looking at some of the questions at the side, and I will answer them at the end, but someone did ask what a PLC was. A PLC is like a personal learning checklist. So it's a revision list basically, but we ask students to RAG rate them. So highlight areas that they're not very good at. They're being red, so have no clue at all. The amber areas, you know, a bit more knowledge. Green areas, they really look like that's kind of one of their strengths. And when they've done that, we'd want them to focus on the red areas as a priority. There's no point using a revision list and starting right at the top and just ticking it methodically as they went down. We need them to be more strategic and efficient with the time, and that obviously then reduces wasted time, but also makes it kind of less stressful for them because they're just focusing on those really difficult areas that they've not yet mastered yet. Then to master those red areas and some of the amber areas as well from their revision list, they can use MS Teams, revision guides, all the strategies that Miss Slinger talked about, digital platforms, whatever they feel best, okay? And then using that then, when they've done that gap filling, is moving forward. So how do they know that they've moved forward? How do they know that they can tick that as green on their PLC? It's by retesting. So it might come in the form of a past paper and then asking a teacher to mark it, or a past paper and asking a teacher on Teams to share the mark scheme with them. That self-marking will be so much more beneficial to the student, kind of looking through the model answers, etc., and then addressing the areas and finding those areas that they're still not mastered again, and the cycle kind of repeats. But this is the language you want you to kind of use with them at home. Find it, fill it, test it, map, master, move forward, and that really active revision. Because if they're not testing themselves, they don't know if they've learned it yet, and they don't know if it's still part of their, their mapping or their finding those gaps. So that's the next 6 weeks. The revision timetable is still exactly as it was. So all the subjects have an offer for after school, or some of them are in the morning because of clashes. Revision sessions. Some people have been invited to kind of bespoke interventions, and they're either during form time, some of them are before school. The library is available exclusively on a Tuesday. Obviously, home learning and home study are two different things, but the home learning might be a task that's due in. The home study we've talked about is something that needs to be done regularly every night, and that's kind of their revision. All of the resources we've already explained. I'm just going to go over a few questions here while I'm just talking about this. So the timetable for the mocks, that's not just been finalised yet, but they will be getting their revision list next week. So that'll be they'll receive that, and we'll send that home as well. So watch out for that. But on a side note, students know from their teachers what their next mock exam is on, kind of what they're studying towards. It's on a case-by-case basis. So some students have finished the content of the course and actually they're doing revision in their actual lessons. Some students are still learning the new material for their next set of papers. So, you know, triple science students are still learning now the material for their mock exam, and that'll be their paper 2. So it's a case-by-case basis, but your children should know. The teachers will obviously have alluded to this constantly since the last set of mock exams and what they're working towards, but you will receive a digital copy of the revision list, and they will receive the study planner like they did last time, so you can have have those conversations and support at home. February revision sessions, we discussed that today, so we're going to see what buy-in there is from staff. Obviously we have to ask staff to kind of give up their time if they want to in the holidays, so we're just kind of waiting for that, but as soon as we've got a timetable for that, we will let you know. And again, it will happen at Easter. There will be some Saturday revision sessions as well, but they will start after the February holidays. So again, teachers opt in for them, so I can't necessarily say that which subjects and when, because I'm still kind of waiting for staff to work around their holiday plans, etc. This is a good one. So what happens if your child has changed their mind about subjects they want to do at A level? This happens a lot. The college will either give them a place, unless there's kind of a requirement, they will either receive a place or not, but this is something that can be just discussed at interview. It can be changed multiple times until they kind of start their college course. So when they get their results, they then go and enroll at the college, and in that meeting then you can discuss, you can kind of finalize your choices. But there's also cases where you might start studying a subject and you actually don't like it, and then you can change. Once you're in the college, you're really well looked after. And you know that I'm speaking from experience. I went to Severian and that happened to me. I started off doing economics, I didn't like it. 3 weeks later I swapped and I did chemistry, and that's kind of my subject now. So don't feel like they're tied in, but you know, these kind of things happen along the way, and it also is dependent on the results at the end. They might, you know, have completely had enough of one subject. The main priority is kind of getting into their college of choice with the right qualification for them to study at post 16. Let's see, sorry, I'm just whizzing through the questions. Severian and Loreto wasn't on that list because the deadline's finished.
The Severian and Loreto application form's gone.
They've already gone, so we've sent them off.
We have done that.
Pendleton is still online, so you can still apply for that online. Of, you know, that's all online, so you can still apply for that. But we would stress that we'd like them to get it out of the way by the 15th of January, really, because then it kind of overloads into mock exams, and we've had this drive since October, so you know they really should have had kind of thought about what they want to do. I know that can be changed, but where is the right course for them and the right college? Yeah, rest breaks. So allocations for rest breaks in mock exams. We had during the mock exams last time, we had quite a lot of staff absence. It was around the time where there was like COVID spikes and flu and allergy and this, that, and the other. So we really struggled then. So rest assured, the real GCSE exam, it will you know, we buy in extra invigilators, etc. So they will always get their allocated rest breaks. And that's been looked at again for the next set of mock exams, so that it's minimal disruption as well for them.
I think just for future purposes, because if your child is going to do the mock exam soon, I think it's you can send us an email and we will forward the email to Access and Achievement, and so they know and they make sure that there's an action plan for your child before the exam. Okay, so just send us an email, what went wrong, and then we will forward that email to Access and Achievement, so they are involved and they are in a loop.
Okay. Third choice, you know, we just recommend it, but you know, it's not it's not necessary, you know, it's.
I think Loreto and Xaverian, they are the top colleges at the moment, and there are thousands and thousands of people applying. And that's why what I have done, what we did actually, we send all the application forms before we break up for Christmas. So our students, Charlton High School students, can get the priority when they're getting the offers. And third college is always handy. It's best to secure the place, as Ms. Moylan said before, if the child wanted to change the subject, that's fine. But I think it is important to secure the places in 3 colleges just in case, because we have gone through, we've been, I've been, Ms. Moylan's the first year, but I've been doing since past 10 years, it's best to have the third college place secured, because it's not the college sometimes, it's the subject you want to study. And if the subject is secure, what you want to study, and that could be your plan B or C.
Okay, and then the last question, just before I finish
Yes.
off with some key dates. If your child didn't do as well in your mocks and you're kind of concerned about them getting into Loreto or Xaverian, we have, you know, we've driven this message a lot with the students that it's extremely competitive, Loreto and Xaverian. So once they kind of fill their quota, they're full. So they're kind of like boundaries each year have gone up and up and up, and their expectations and their entry requirements. However, that being said, if they make a massive improvement in their March mocks and kind of like you don't get the news that you want from the college, I suppose you could then have an email and, you know, go down a kind of an appeal route if you'd prefer following on that. Okay.
Can I just answer? There's one question just there. Just go down. Email to Ms. Sarwa, that one.
Yeah, you've already answered it.
Yeah, so just
fine.
email to me and then I will forward that to you, Access and Achievement. And the last one is Trinity. My child, go down.
I've done that one.
No, the right at the end. That one. Concerned about the pace of the triple science lesson. You teach triple science?
Yeah, there's been no absence of triple science. Obviously we're going at a fast pace, so home study, it's essential that they keep up with that. But we should be, we will have finished, you know, so there shouldn't be any concerns there. Obviously they need to come to revision as well. So the 3 of us, myself, Mr. McCrath and Mr. Child, do revision each week. So that's kind of recap prior knowledge from year 10, etc. But they do need to keep up with the independent study themselves. Okay.
Can I go to the Trinity one? That one. No religious referee. They're talking about the referee from the school. So you just put my name down. What the students have done, they put my email address. And as soon as they put my email address, I get the online reference form. And I just I just complete the form straight away. So you just can, instead of my name, just write full email address for Trinity College. Just write full email address, and then I will get the electronic copy and I will just complete the reference straight away. That is for Trinity only.
Okay, and we will email this presentation out. So just to kind of finish off with, I've got some key dates. If your child does sports studies, which is the PE Cambridge National course, they have one of their first exams next Tuesday for one of the smaller units. There is revision on Friday morning, Monday and Tuesday at 8 AM in G50. And then they will also have a normal lesson on Monday, so that there's a small cohort of about 20 students that do that exam. Mock exam season, the 2 weeks back after half term. Then that will be followed by mock exam feedback fortnight. So they'll get the papers back, they'll receive feedback, and it's kind of what they do with that feedback then that is crucial in making that difference to their grade. There is a send parent drop-in on Wednesday, the 29th of March, delivered by the Access and Achievement Department. So that's kind of opt-in if you would like to come to that, and you'll receive, there'll be an email out about kind of the time and invitations for that as well. If your child does food, there is a non-examined assessment on the 16th and 17th of March. And the 27th of March, the art assessments begin there as well. College deadlines, we kind of shared them before, but ideally the 15th of January. And then someone's just asked, SEND stands for special educational need. So if your child comes under the Access and Achievement Department, you're more than welcome to attend that as well. And I think that's everything. So we will email out this presentation. It is recorded as well. But thank you very much for attending. Keep your eyes peeled for the revision list as well. And any other questions you've got for myself or Miss Sawa or Miss Osborne, feel free to email us. And we'll just stay on for a couple of minutes. Okay. Thanks very much, everyone.
Yeah. This is just for Karen. Karen, yes, you have to complete another form. Okay. If you can add it, that's brilliant. If not, then you just can complete the new form. Okay. Thank you very much. And it's we will continue working with your children, continue working with you guys, and we prefer more closer communication from now on. We only have 3 to 4 months left now. And it's how time flies. I think the next half term we're going to talk about leavers hoodies and prom passports and prom. So there'll be lots of things going on. So I think we're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm just going to go back and pop up Miss Sawa's email so you can.
Just maybe leave.
Yeah, we can't see it. There it is. Miss Sawa's email's there.
Final exams. We don't have the timetable yet, but it will be the first week, beginning of May.
8th of May. It's the week where it's the extra bank holiday, so they'll begin that week.
Yeah. We answered all of them. There's one new message there.
When do they finish?
I think after half term, after May half term, so that will be the summer one. So by the end of summer 1 or by the beginning of summer 2, that the first week of summer 2 will be the final week. Hopefully, we haven't finalized the date yet. So we will have our leavers assembly, and then the prom dates are already on the website. I think it's in June sometime. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
June, yeah. They won't come to school after their GCSE exams, so there will be kind of like a cut-off point where we say goodbye to them, and then they kind of just come back in for their exams. But again, we've not finalised that yet.
If they want to stay and someone needs some extra help, the teachers will be available in classes for them.